Welcome to the Purple Positivity Podcast for March the 2nd, 2018. I cannot believe how fast February went. Like, seriously, there were moments where it felt like it was dragging, but it was like every other day I was sitting there going, really? It's February the 9th? Really? It's Valentine's Day? Really? Like, I mean, it felt like it went so fast. I am your host, the amazingly adorable and easily amused by the concept of time, Rebecca Thistle, podcasting to you live-ish from my kitchen table today in my new apartment, which I call Jeffrey Thistlework. So, I have a lot of situations going on in my life. I feel like in every area of my life right now, I'm helpless. I'm dealing with CPS, and they have outright lied multiple times. Like, I mean, downright lied. I mean, the petition they sent to the court to force me to work services said in the petition that the reason it was necessary was that I had refused to work the services voluntarily. I did not. That is an outright lie. And now I'm having to suffer the consequences of somebody wanting to make things difficult for me. And then we had a compliance hearing yesterday, and all I could do was just say, you know what? All I can do is just put my head down and submit and say whatever CPS says. That's how it is. My caseworker looked me in the face and said, I asked you about XYZ and you told me ABC. And I was like, in my head, I was sitting there thinking, you never asked me that question. You never asked me that question, because if you had asked me that question, that was not the answer that was real. But because it's CPS and because their word holds more weight in a court of law, which is 50 shades of zarked up, all I could do was just say, okay. And so I don't have my son back. Not yet. And it doesn't look like it's going to happen for at least another 6 weeks. And all I can sit here and think is, I can't do anything. I can't say anything. I can't stand up for myself, because the instant that I say, no, that's not how it happened, I automatically look like I'm being defensive and I'm being defiant, and that doesn't look good. Standing up for yourself against Child Protective Services makes you look bad. And I don't understand it. I don't understand it at all. I feel helpless at my job, but I can't really talk about that publicly for fear of losing that job. I feel helpless with the endless bureaucracy that dictates my life. I feel helpless. Completely helpless. But here's the thing. I was at work yesterday after the compliance hearing. I was listening to this audiobook by one of my favorite musicians, Amanda Palmer. It's called The Art of Asking. And, if you know anything about Amanda Palmer, she does a lot of crowdfunding. She does a lot of couch surfing. She does a lot of tweeting saying, hey, does anybody have this thing, that thing, or the other thing? And hey, and I mean, she's very, communal in her approach to her art. And there's a lot that I admire about that. But it involves a lot of asking. And so she notices that a lot of people are afraid to ask. And, and I mean, even she, this fearless person, or seemingly fearless person, who, asks for everything. Even she has problems asking. And it's really interesting, because every little anecdote in this book, every chapter, every section, it just finishes off and I'm in tears, because I'm like, oh my God, I get it. That's wow. So, anyways, but I had a bad day yesterday. Well, I had kind of a blah day. It was mostly bad, but there was a little bit of good that happened. But it was mostly bad. And so at the end of the day, I'm sitting at my kitchen table and I'm thinking, and I'm thinking about the art of asking, and I'm thinking about how helpless I feel, and I'm thinking about times when I didn't feel helpless. And I did a Facebook live video for my friends talking about this. But back in, I guess this was 2009, when I had first discovered, quote unquote discovered, Amanda Palmer. She's been around for forever, but that was the first time that I'd heard of her. And I'm, coming across all this music, and I'm just falling in love with everything that she says and all this. I came across a recording of her performing Creep by Radiohead on ukulele. And I can't quite explain what it was about that blew my mind so much, but it just, something about it just made me go, oh, wow, I want to learn how to play ukulele too. And it excited me. I was in a relationship at the time with this guy from Canada who decided that he hated ukuleles. Because this was also around about the time that, that song by Train, Hey Soul Sister, was everywhere. And, and I'll be honest, I like that song. But he decided that all ukuleles were to blame for the popularity of this song. And so when I expressed to him, like any girlfriend would, or actually fiance, like, hey, I want to learn how to play ukulele. I think it's the coolest thing on the face of the planet, because this is supposed to be my best friend and the person that I'm going to spend the rest of my life with, right? Excuse me. He looked at me and he was like, no, you're not going to learn how to play ukulele. Do not do it. And I listened to him for about 18 months. I listened to him. I let him tell me that. So finally, in February of 2011, I had some extra money. And I said, I'm going to get my first ukulele. The end. And I told him, he said, turn your alarms off before you start your podcast. So I told him, I'm going to buy my first ukulele. He said, no, you're not. You're not going to learn ukulele. I said, it's my money, melon farmer. And you can't tell me what to do with my money. And he goes, well, I'll just smash it the first chance I get. I said, yeah, you do that. So I bought the ukulele, and my college friends will probably remember this. I would carry that thing with me everywhere. Every single day I took it to school with me. I mean, it was never far from me. But I got my ukulele, I tuned it, I learned a few chords, and within a week I had learned 6 songs. And as of today, more than 7 years later, I don't even know how many songs I know, because it's almost funny because we listen to the what used to be the oldies station. Now it's called All the Hits, because they're starting to play things from the 90s, and that makes us millennials feel old. And but we'll just be listening, and I'm like, oh, I know that song on ukulele. Oh, I know that song on ukulele. Or I'm listening to a station on I don't really use Pandora, but I use Amazon Music, one of their stations, and I'm like, oh, I know that one on ukulele. Oh, I wonder what. And and I mean, even now, when I listen to songs, I can generally, especially with pop songs, and this is kind of cool and kind of sad at the same time, I can pick out the chord progression pretty quickly just by listening to it, and then grab my ukulele and go, okay, do I need to put it in C or A minor, or depending on whether it's a major or minor key, or should I put it in G, or whatever, and I usually can play that song within a few minutes. But the thing about that ukulele was, it wasn't just this new hobby that I had picked up. It was an act of defiance. The first time that I, straight up said to this guy, no, you cannot control me like that. And in hindsight, that was probably right about the time that he started seeking comfort elsewhere. There's a lot about that relationship that I'd kind of rather not get into right now. But I don't blame the ukulele for the deterioration of that relationship, but I credit that ukulele